Hello everyone and welcome to the 2017 Bremen TCG Regional for Pokemon. I'm Nicholas Pierce for being invited as a guest for Limitless TCG, and thank you very much to them. And I'm here with Lydia Hornbach, who actually is part of the Limitless TCG. How are you doing, Lydia?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good as well. So we will be getting started with round one very soon. The players are actually setting up now. They're at the feature match table, and we are going to have Lukas against Steffen Eriksen. Now, don't let your eyes be deceived. Steffen Eriksen might look a bit like a substitute doll, but we're having a couple of technical difficulties on the cameras. We are getting a replacement in soon, but until then, just trust us. It's definitely Steffen. Like, you have to take our word for it.
It is Steffen. It's not Jesper.
Yeah. So, yeah, look, this is just, if you just transition over to the game screen now, just to, yep. And yeah, Lukas right now is looks like he's about to play his iPhone GX onto the onto the table, but no, maybe not going for that strategy just yet. But yeah, so we don't quite 100% know what both these players are playing right now. We don't have access to deck list right now. There's been a couple of issues how these was going into the start of the tournament, but we still I heard it on the rumor mill somewhere though that Steffen might be playing Decidueye now. But now this is very interesting because like, you know, everyone thought with the rotation of Forest of Giant Plants, that this deck wouldn't see play again. But I mean, what do you think, Lydia?
Well, I think it's interesting because actually the judge came in here and he told us that it's the first time both of the players are playing their deck. So let's see how much Steffen actually, thought about what might be a good card or what not. And play this to try after rotation.
Yeah, definitely, and also it'd be interesting to see what Lukas is playing as well. So as you can see, it looks like they are set up now, but they're just going to sort of flip the coin and just going to get ready to start. Okay, so it looks like we're going to start in just a minute. We're going to be given the signal when we're actually ready to start, but they are both set up, and yeah, this should be a really great first match. We really, both Steffen and Lukas, both very accomplished players. Steffen making worlds multiple times over. I think he's literally gotten the top 22 invite every single year it's been available.
Yeah, played a lot in the last years, but last season he didn't play at all. He took a break and now he's back. He's a good player from Austria. He plays together with Lukas, who was top 4 at Worlds last season, not this year, but last year. Top 8? Top 8? I think it was top 4. So let's see if he can get back, or if the Austrian guys can get back as strong as they were.
Yeah, definitely. Lukas will be a very familiar name. He's also both of them together. They have it's a Pokemon TCG Austria, the Facebook page. Yeah, so yeah, both very well known. It's great to see Lukas sort of come back into the game now, and yeah, like I said, we will be kicking off shortly. I'm really curious to see what Lukas is playing. Like I said, it's okay. We can see. We have a look at his hand. I see. Is that an Espeon GX or EX even?
Was an Ultra Ball, so it could be everything.
yeah, Ultra Ball doesn't really sound like.
Oh,
wait.
I think it's as well.
Is this a mirror match round one? A mirror match for a deck that I don't think anyone expected going into round one. Okay, this should be fun. This should be very fun. Also, that would explain why neither of them know how to play the deck.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if neither of them played it before, then yeah, this completely explains it.
Okay, so we are starting round 1 now.
Yeah, and we see Steffen's side, he does flip over the Jirachi promo, and Lukas flips over a Alolan Vulpix. And
do you know who's going first?
There might be a disagreement about that. No?
Steffen is going first.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, and yeah, there it is, benching a Rowlet. So yeah, this isn't something I would have expected to see going into this tournament. So I'm guessing it must be a version of the deck that plays sort of rare candies and maybe multiple Dartrixes. I mean, that's
maybe.
I mean, there's no other way for this deck to run. I guess.
So he's attaching a double colorless energy to his Rowlet. So, and what is he playing now? It looks like it was a Sycamore.
Yes, it was. So starting with draw 7, he's able to get the other Rowlet down and another.
And that's an Alolan.
Yeah, so it makes sense for the rest of the player. Obviously, like any stage 2 deck, it just plays this card just because.
It helps you to set up a lot, and the attack has no energy cost, so yeah, obviously that's good.
Yeah. In fact, it seems like Lukas has a Jirachi in his hand as well. Could it be that they actually worked on the list together and they're playing the same list?
I'm not so sure about that, but that could be crazy. Maybe they talked about it, or it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. And as we can see there, I'm not sure what exactly was played, but it looks like. Oh yeah, yeah. He literally just used beacon and pass. So yeah,
Yeah.
not a great hand for Lucas, but at least he is able to get himself that Tapu Lele, and he does have 2 Pokemon out, so there's no risk of a donk here. And next turn, Lucas will be able to bench that Tapu Lele, use the Wonder Tag, and get himself a supporter to get back in the game. But really big advantage for Steffen right now because he already has 2 Rowlet down.
He can set up now quickly, but let's see what he's going to do.
Yeah, the big problem now is that of course because Forests of Giant Plants is no longer available, again with any stage 2 deck, having the basics down as early as possible is a huge advantage. Now Steffen could in theory get 2 Decidueyes out this turn if he hits 2 Rare Candies and 2 Decidueyes. It's very unlikely, but it's still possible. And even if he doesn't, he can at least get the Dartrix system to play and start building his way up to those Decidueyes, whereas Lucas right now is just stuck with nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because as this is a mirror match, we can now see how both players worked around the loss of Forest of Giant Plants, and let's see if they found different ways or if they really play the same deck list.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see sort of how that actually ends up playing out because yeah, it's like we were saying, this not a deck we were expecting to see going into this tournament, but
Steffen just searched the Rare Candy out of his deck.
They must have played a Skylar.
Might see a Decidueye now.
Yes,
yeah.
We do. So advantage Steffen immediately.
He has a Stone.
Very, very good turn. So now Steffen will, I imagine, he'll probably just put a Feather Arrow somewhere, retreat into the Vulpix, and then Beacon.
Lucas doesn't look happy at all.
No, I mean, when you have literally no Rowlets down, and your opponent has a Rowlet and a Decidueye down, you're just thinking, oh boy, the tempo is too much. He's going to get 2 or 3 Feather Arrows before I even get a chance to make a response. And yeah, up goes the Alolan Vulpix for Steffen as he just goes for the Beacon, and he'll be able to.
That's a very safe play.
Yeah, it's very safe play, and also it's what you want right now, right? Like every stage 2 deck just needs to be more patient now. You just, the whole thing is you just get the Vulpixes, you start setting stuff up slowly, and yeah, with the Beacon now, Steffen can get himself. If he has another Rare Candy in hand, he would grab a Decidueye, but it looks like he doesn't, so he's just opting to go for the Dartrix instead.
Yeah, it's also a very safe play because Steffen sees he has the time. There's no point in hurrying up. Lucas is left behind with his setup, so yeah. Oh, Lucas put down the Dartrix he found from his Beacon attack, and they're still shuffling. Oh, he now puts down the Lille, uses Wonder Tag.
Yeah, so of course, Lucas last turn did the Beacon, and he got the Lele off that because his hand was just didn't have really much happening in it. I saw I think like 2 Decidueyes, and you just don't want to stick them all that away. So if I were a guessing man, and I am, then I'd say he's probably going to grab an N here, which is absolutely what he's done.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, is this an N?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a little bit of the glare going on. So a little bit about the venue we're in. This is actually the Bremen Music Theatre. And so, right, I'm sure some of you watching may have already heard through word of mouth, some of the stuff that's going on. But it's actually the tables are set out over multiple floors of like what you call the lobby area essentially. So there's some people playing on the ground floor, some on the middle floor, and some on the top floor. We're actually commentating from the ticket office right now.
Oh yeah, we're sitting right behind the cashier.
Yeah. So if any of you want to buy, or in Bremen want to buy tickets for the Rocky Horror Show here at the Musical Theatre Bremen, come on over, and we won't be able to sell you tickets because we don't have access to that stuff. But yeah, that's where we are.
But unfortunately, we don't have any tickets left for the Pokemon tournament because it's completely sold out.
Yeah, and it's already started, so if you came in now, you get a round 1 loss. So don't do that.
Okay, so let's see what's going on the game. So Lucas is going for. Is it a Secret Scoop?
No, it's a Timer Ball.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. It's so Timer Ball, not a card that sees a huge amount of play, but it's played a couple of times just because it's a good card. If you flip heads like a Super Scoop Up, so it lets you flip 2 coins, and then for each heads you get, you can search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, put it into your hand. So Lucas is going to get himself the Decidueye there, and he won't be able to get out this turn, of course, because the Rowlet's only been down for 1 turn. But then if he has a Rare Candy next turn, he can evolve that Rowlet into a Decidueye and start putting some pressure back on. As we see, Lucas does play the Ninetales. This does make sense. I mean, these decks that play Vulpix, some of them, if they have the space, they'll just play a Ninetales, especially if they're playing double colorless, because you can just evolve into it anyway, and then you have a decent attacker ready, and then that kind of puts the pressure on Steffen to make sure that, because if he isn't able to evolve this Rowlet into a Decidueye, or even if he just puts the damage on the Jirachi, then Lukas can just do one Feather Arrow to knock it out next turn, and Jirachi is really big because of course it stops. If the Decidueye is just playing double colors and rainbow energy, then you can just keep doing the Stardust attack and really stop them from being able to put any pressure on you.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see what's going on.
Okay. There's a floatstone going on to the Alone Vulpix right now, and yeah, you see Steffen there debating what to. Okay, so looks like he's going to maybe thought about benching the Tapu Koko with a choice band, but decided not to.
He's still thinking about it because he's reordering his hand cards again. He's going to bench the Tapu Koko with a choice band.
Yes, it's a choice band.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to play an Ultra Ball as well. Not quite decided what to discard yet. We can't see if he has a rare candy in hand, but if he... oh, that's interesting. So he's opting to discard an Ultra Ball and the Espeon EX.
Oh, okay.
So, again, Espeon EX, quite a popular card to play in the Decidueye list because combined with the Feather Arrow, Miraculous Shine, devolving things for knockouts, it's a very common scenario to happen. So, this makes sense. And okay, we do see Drop Ball for the Tapu Lele, so obviously going for the Wonder tag to grab himself a supporter, and looks like it's going to be a Sycamore.
Probably because his hand is pretty down. Yeah, it's a Sycamore.
Yeah, so what's probably going to happen is he's probably going to evolve the Rowlet into a Dartrix and then just play the Sycamore to get a new hand.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't know about you, Lydia, but I mean, in terms of this, it's kind of hard. Normally, you can talk about sort of matchup advantages, I guess, but yeah, like I say, we're not really expecting.
No clue how this matchup is going to be played, or what other attacks they might have.
But interesting to see that Steffen did not evolve the Decidueye into. Sorry, did not evolve the Rowlet even into a Dartrix. So maybe.
Or he was going for red candy.
Possibly either that, or maybe Lukas played an end that we didn't realize. That's another potential as well. It's very interesting to note that both players are targeting down the opponent's Jirachi very, very early. I think they must have very similar lists, and they must know if that Jirachi stays on, then if they're just playing what looks like double colors and rainbow, they can just keep doing Stardust, knock off all the special energies, and put each other in a really bad spot.
It's interesting that they are so afraid of it because, as we told you, both players haven't played this deck before. It's the first time they ever play this, so they still believe that Jirachi is really a threat in the mirror match. So let's see how this might turn out.
It does kind of make sense to me because from what I can see, both players, like I said, their lists are very similar, and it seems like they're focusing on, instead of a lot of Decidueye lists in the past, they play, say, Grass Energy with double colorless because that way you still have basic engines, but it looks like these are taking entirely the rainbow focus. I think if they know that, then that's probably why they're targeting down each other's Jirachis very closely.
We haven't seen a rainbow energy from Lukas yet, but he will play it as well, I assume.
Yeah, we've only seen Lukas commit one energy so far. He has not really seen another one. Yeah, it will be interesting to see just exactly how is that another beacon from Steffen? Yeah, looks like it is. Yeah, and okay, he's actually playing the I can't remember the name of the ability, but it's a Ninetales that stops opponents' EXs and GXs from hitting you. Yeah, having the deckless a lot of deckless handy would be having deckless handy would be really, really good. So we're just gonna take a quick look in the chat for a bit, just to sort of see what you guys are saying. Apparently, some of you guys can't hear us very well. There's it looks like there might be some volume problems going on, so we're kind of having to sort of hold one microphone between two people right now, so that may be why the volume issues are sort of happening, and the volume is already at maximum as well. So that's if you can't hear it, that's why we'll try and get that sorted for future. But if that's the case, then yeah, we sort of apologize for that. Oh, a town map with a field blower prize for Lukas.
Yeah, and there's also a red candy prize. It's not that good, but it's only one red candy, and he can handle that.
Yeah, you can just about handle that, but it's still it's not the ideal, you might say. Just see another. Yeah, the Ultra Ball from Lukas discarding another Ultra Ball and the Choice Band. and yeah, grabbing himself a Dartrix there. So I think Lukas realizing he's just sort of gonna try and almost like give up on just getting the Decidueye out to send a rare candy and just opting to go the slow route instead. He has also benched another Vulpix.
Maybe he might go for another beacon soon to get some Decidueyes out soon. So he's now attaching an energy.
Yeah, and that's a grass energy, not a rainbow.
That's true. So it's the second energy we see from Lukas now in the whole game. So he's not drawing well so far.
Well, it's like so he had the very unfortunate start where turn one he literally just had to beacon. So yeah, it was very unfortunate for him, especially considering he went second as well, so it put him so far behind. But
he knocked out the second Decidueye with the arrow.
no, it was with Ice Blade.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, there's no Decidueyes out yet, but yeah, that means he's not going for the beacon. That will be his attack for the turn. But yeah, still taking the prize, and back to Steffen as he gets his own Ninetales out and another Decidueye.
Wow, Steffen's field looks pretty strong, especially compared to Lukas' one. So that was now a knockout by a feather.
Yes, it was. And yeah, down goes the Jirachi. So both the Jirachis now off the field. So none of those sort of shenanigans later, unless I'd imagine both these players probably play either Rescue Stretcher or Super Rod. So we will probably see it later at some point. But for now, that threat is no longer there.
Yeah, I mean you can't play a deck with that many Pokemon and that many evolutions without a Super Rod or Rescue Stretcher.
This wouldn't make any sense. So right now, let's see, Steffen. So debating let's continue. He does have a Rainbow Energy in his hand. Looks like he's going to put that on the Decidueye. Well, I mean, he's already. No, I'm actually thinking about it. I think he already put on the double colorless this turn to the active Ninetales.
Okay.
So they're just an Ice Blade. Going to do 52 that Dartrix, which means that it is now 10 away from a knockout, but then back to Lukas as he does get the Decidueye out.
Finally.
Finally he gets his own Decidueye out. So now he'll be able to start putting on some feather arrows as well. And if he can find a red candy Decidueye, he can actually get a second one out, and he does indeed play an N.
So let's see if Lukas can get back into this game. Maybe he has some luck with late game ends and yeah, let's see. He must have a lot of resources in his deck as he hadn't played a lot of cards yet.
Yeah, of course, and not only that as well, but he actually the lead that Steffen wasn't able to do a ridiculous amount to capitalize on his lead. Like Lukas is still in a fine position. In fact, all you need to do is get Rare Candy Decidueye, and he'll be pretty much in the similar sort of board state to Steffen, although he just finds Dartrix instead, which is still fine.
Which is still okay. You can get this next round, and it's way easier to only get one Decidueye than the combination of Decidueye and Rare Candy.
Yeah, of course. The only worry I think for Lukas is that because he wasn't able to evolve into Decidueye, Steffen could, in theory, next turn use both of his feather arrows and the Dartrix, and then use a nice way to finish it off. But that's the only thing. So really, I think Lukas would ideally want to find a third Rowlet here if he could possibly get that out, but it looks like he doesn't have it.
Yeah, it doesn't look that well. Lukas doesn't look too happy. He's thinking a lot where he could put other colors, and he decides to put it onto his Decidueye. But this was a feather arrow. One feather arrow.
One feather arrow and then doing an ice blade onto the Decidueye. I think in terms of Lukas not looking happy, I've been watching throughout this game. I think that's just his usual facial expression. I think he's just it's a concentration face,
Maybe he's just not happy playing on stream with the first match with this new deck.
Yeah, it might be that they wanted to maybe hoping to keep this deck a bit more of a secret. We didn't have access to the deck list, so we just picked these guys on the basis of these are two big names, just get them on. But then it turns out we're playing a secret deck mirror match. Go figure.
Okay, so it's Steffen's turn again. Has he attached an energy yet?
I'm not sure. I think he might have done. I guess we were sort of talking about the matchup, but I think Yeah, you might put one onto the other Decidueye because there's a tool on it. And I think that might be. I'm actually not sure. He's doing feather arrows now in any case, and it looks like he's going for. Ah, interesting. So maybe he's deciding that. Okay, so what he's done is he's done one feather arrow on the Decidueye, one on the Dartrix, and then he's just isolated the Dartrix so that it's within range for one feather arrow next turn.
Yeah, that's again a pretty safe play. He has now damage on both possible Decidueye. One is still a Dartrix, so yeah, he's good in a good board position. He divides the damage among the field.
Yeah, this makes sense because although sure you don't stop the potential Decidueye this way, once the Dartrix does evolve into a Decidueye, of course, it's worth 2 prize cards instead of 1. So Steffen might be setting that up in a way where he can actually take command of the game by just knocking out stuff for 2 prizes instead of 1.
Yeah.
So Lukas benches another Lele, goes for the Wonder Tag, and it looks like it's going to be for a Sycamore this time. Does he find what he needs? He just needs the Decidueye really at this point, and I'm not sure if I see it.
It doesn't look like it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see with all this glare.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we can do something about the lighting between the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll see if we can sort of do something about that. Another feather arrow goes onto Steffen's bench Decidueye, bring up with another 20. Now, we need to see if Lukas decides what Lukas decides to do with the second feather arrow. He's not used it already. Puts it on the Tapu Koko. This actually makes sense because, of course, Razor Leaf does 90 damage, so one feather arrow plus the Razor Leaf knocks it out. So that's why he's done that. And Lukas putting a double colorless onto the Decidueye on the bench, ready to do that. And another timeable Tails and Tails. Like, were you playing when Dual Ball was around, Lydia, or was that before?
That was before I started playing, but I know some stories.
Yeah, like, so the worst feeling in the world was just playing. Not only that, because you had Junk Arm back then, you'd play Dual Ball, Double Tails, and then you'd have Junk Arm for it. But, oh, it's fine now, and then Double Tails again. So it's just, well, I guess I lose the game now. But yeah, going back to Steffen now as Lukas does the Ice Blade, and now. So it's kind of hard to see. It looks like that Ninetales actually just has 0 damage on it. I think they might be a little bit scared of Ice Path, because of course, if you put too much damage onto the Ninetales, then the Ice Path just moves it all back to you. So both players have to be very careful of that.
Yeah, because it's hard. You put a lot of work and effort in doing some damage, and then you get it all back.
So not only do they heal themselves, they damage you too. It's like not where you want to be.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So yeah, Steffen has to be very careful here. We do see that looks like he's going to be playing a Skylar from Max Potion. That's going to be, I imagine that'll be a pretty big card, just generally speaking for both of these players. So it does seem a little bit awkward because I guess Max Potion is obviously when you play it, you get to heal one of your Pokemon entirely, but you have to discard all the all the energy attached to it. And it looks like that Decidueye that he healed actually has no energy on it at all. Oh, he put the Dartrix and the Rowlet in a way where it looks like it. Okay. So, yeah, actually that Max Potion was essentially had no drawback for Steffen. That's pretty good. And he gets a 3rd Rowlet down too.
So, Steffen, again, is in a pretty good board position. He has no damage on his field now. He has a lot of energies to the Decidueye. So, yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on Lukas. He's now retreating his Ninetales and going for the Tapu Koko.
Very interesting. So one strategy here for Steffen, maybe you think, maybe not even necessarily taking the prizes on the Decidueye GX, is he might be thinking about going for the Espeon EX route. So we saw him discard it earlier off of a Sycamore and Ultra Ball. Can't remember which one, but if he hasn't been through his rescue stretcher or super rod yet, whichever, assuming he plays one of them, then he can just get that back at some point and then just devolve everything and then just take the game from there.
Maybe he's also afraid of going too low in prize cards and then having a late game end, and he does not see the point in taking his prize cards too fast. So he maybe doesn't think that Lukas is playing any healing cards. That could honest with you.
Well, I mean, we've not seen any healing cards out of Lucas yet, or at least if it's have been sort of obscured by the glare. But yeah, a flying flip from Steffen will put 20 on everything, and yeah, this is where the pressure I think really starts for against Lucas rather, because now you got this Coco in the active, sort of spreading damage. There's a backup one on the bench, so assuming Steffen has another double colorless energy, he can just do the same thing again next turn. And then at that point, you can use Feather Arrows, knock stuff out, evolve stuff, and he has the bench slot free for the Espeon. Steffen is setting up himself to win very well here.
Yes, definitely. And he's playing pretty safe all the time.
He's not taking any needless risks with his setup. He's just doing it the way that he feels the best to do, and it seems to be working really well for him. Especially, it's a bit of a problem for Lucas that he had to actually Sycamore away Rowlet because he's out of bench space.
He had to use a lot of Tapu Leles to get some supporters to get back into the game, and now without any bench space, he can't set up another Decidueye.
No, exactly. So now it's going to be up.
Maybe that's also why Steffen is not going for any knockouts, because he doesn't want to give Lucas some bench space.
That's it. That's another big thing potentially, yeah, because it's if Lucas had access to sort of bench spots again, especially say if you KO something useless like, well, it's evolved into a Ninetales now, but it was a lone Evolpix before. That's just it really it wouldn't make it great for Steffen. So instead now Lucas is in a position where you might even consider maybe
because he has like half an hour left. And if he thinks he can win this whole match, he needs to win 2 more games. And yeah, it seems like this mirror match takes a long time for a game.
So I mean, this makes sense, right? Both decks are slow, sort of set up stage 2 decks that are going to be very slowly building up. So, but Lucas not opting to throw in the towel just yet. I think he does see himself with an outside chance, and he has gone for the Ice Blade after doing some Feather Arrows, and now play is back to Steffen as he considers what to do. His hand doesn't look like it's got too much to work with. He has got an Enmo.
So both players are shuffling back their hands into the deck, drawing as many cards as they have prizes left, so that makes 5 cards for both players, which isn't too bad. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's not like the same level of disruption that you normally expect to see from an end. I don't know about you, Lydia, but one thing I find interesting about the current standard format compared to the older one is that it's a little bit easier to play around end because, unlike last format where you had versus seeker, so as soon as you had one end in the discard, you had so much access to it. Now that's not really the case. Once you see your opponent plays 3 or 4 ends, that's it. They can't end you again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's it means that you can actually still play the game a little bit differently, and you need to be a bit more careful using your ends in the early game just to shuffle draw, even though sometimes you don't really have a choice.
But that's in terms of every supporter. It's the same thing with Guzma, for example, or with your Stylized. You just don't have access to them as good as you had when Versus Seeker was still in the format.
Yeah, exactly. So, and every deck is affected by it as well. It's not one of these sort of losses from rotation that only affects 1 or 2 decks. Every deck loses from that. So, it's interesting because it is not one of these rotations that means X deck is now dead. It means one of these things where you actually just have to play the game differently now because the card is gone.
Yeah, I talked a lot to Philip and Robin Schultz, and they were both like, basically almost every deck lost consistency through rotation because they lost Versus Seeker, and now every deck plays basically almost the same supporter line, except stage 2 decks who obviously play Skylar.
Yeah, absolutely. So in any case, looking back into the game, Steffen did another flying flip, and now Lucas, you looks like he just did more Feather Arrows and then an Ice Blade, not taking any knockouts just yet. But it's interesting to see that Lucas is opting to target down the Decidueye with no energy on it. Now, this means that Steffen could just, in theory, max potion again. And again, there'll be no drawback to that. He's thinking, maybe if Lucas targeted down the Decidueye with energy on it, maybe he could force Steffen to max potion it and then lose those free energy.
Losing free energies is hard, especially because it takes so long to put them onto the field. So, do you think Steffen is playing more than one match potion?
He just played a second one now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, maybe if Lucas, just targeted down the Decidueye with energy on, then Steffen would not be able to max potion it. But instead, he's just Lucas targeting one with no energy, and so he was able to max potion it again with no drawback.
Yeah, that's such a big advantage for Steffen. He's taking away all the damage. Still has his field as it was before, but resetting Lucas' whole round, his whole effort. That's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Steffen can just do a razor leaf, and that will actually be a knockout.
So Steffen is now down to 3 prizes, and let's see how Lucas is reacting to that. If he can react.
Yeah, absolutely. If he can react, it's gonna be a tough response for Lucas here, as he's left with 1 Decidueye. He does have access to 2 Ninetales, but at least 1. He also has potential access to. If he has another double colorless energy, he can maybe attach that to the Layla in his energy drive. That's another option he has, but he only has 1 feather arrow to work with. And if you think about sort of the way the damage race works, he only has 1 feather arrow. Steffen has 2. That's a race you're always losing.
Yeah, that's true. Steffen is way more flexible also, because he can deal more damage across the field. Oh, Lucas is now going for the Espion.
Interesting. So he's actually going for the devolution now, but he doesn't really get much value out of this because neither of the. Okay, I guess it's kind of cool. He was able to take a knockout on this active. Actually, that's pretty cool because it was rare candied. So actually, this is pretty cool because now this means that Steffen only has 1 Decidueye left as well, and that rally is going to go down. In fact, okay, now that I think about it, maybe what Lucas was thinking about was, if Steffen doesn't have a max potion, I can devolve both of them and actually get 2 knockouts. That's probably what he was thinking in hindsight. But prize card for Lucas there. Looks like he's opted to take the double colorless, and it's still okay for Steffen. He can just re-evolve the Decidueye. He's still on.
It should be 2 prize cards because he also knocked out the Alolan Vulpix.
Oh, did he? Oh, I mean, okay. Oh, he's deciding what to take.
Yeah, he's taking the Guzma.
And the double colorless. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So yeah, he was taking 1, and then because he has Talmab, he's like, I need to decide what to take. There's the rescue stretcher from Steffen. Yeah, going for the Espion EX. So benches it. He's got the energy on it as well. And oh, is that actually? Yeah, that's it. Okay, 3 prizes. Yep. So Steffen takes game 1, and we will indeed be moving on to game 2. So what did you think of that game overall, Lydia? Because I mean, obviously Lucas had a really terrible start, but it looks like for a little bit he was able to make a comeback. But then Steffen was still able to pull out the win. So what do you think? What do you think was like the key moment in that game as it played out?
Well, I think the key moment was when Steffen had time to deal damage across the field with Tapu Koko. So he set up for his Espion EX attack and for the devolution, and well, that's basically the match plan for this matchup. You deal damage and then you de-evolve and you just kind of destroy the whole field of your opponent. And I think actually this deck looks like fun to play. You're very flexible. You have to think a lot about what you do. It's not that straightforward. What do you think about
what?
About the fun this deck is?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Decidueye was a deck I enjoyed playing myself when it was around, and I think it's interesting how much sort of I guess it's quite a bit harder to play well now as well, because you have to, like we've said a couple of times over the course of this game already, you have to build up slowly. You have to play the same way as Gardevoir, essentially. Maybe use Beacon, evolve slowly into a Dartrix and Decidueye. But something that I was actually sort of saying before, because I was talking to so many people before who were convinced that this deck was completely dead, and I said what I said in response was, I don't think it will be anywhere near as dominating as it was before. But the Decidueye is still inherently very strong, so when I saw people were actually playing it, I thought, I guess someone else was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. But well, let's see how well they will do in the rest of the tournament, because as we know, they haven't play tested a lot, and I assume there's a lot of Gardevoir around, so maybe we can see how this deck does against Gardevoir.
Yeah, I think that'll be very interesting to see as well. I mean, the one thing about the Decidueye is that Gardevoir can, not easily, but it can get into one-shot range. Like it's 200 140 is a multiple of 30, so they can build up the energy in a way where, let's say, if there's free energy on a Decidueye, then the Gardevoir player would need I think it would be either 4 energy and a choice band, or 5 energy and a choice band. I'm actually not sure exactly. Oh, I can't do maths. Help. Yeah, that's right. 5 energy or 4 energy in a choice band, which is not unreasonable for the Gardevoir deck to get, especially with double colors energies over a couple of turns. But start of game 2, Lucas has a much better start. He was able to get a Bridget.
Yeah, that's true. So Lucas is actually in a pretty good position. It's not that good that he started with how did Lele become his actual? Did he start with Lele? Yeah. He started with Lele. Okay. So that's not perfect, but still he was able to find a Bridget in his starting hand. So there's nothing you can wish for anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, no, starting with Bridget in hand as well is great, and it looks like it was the same for Steffen, unless he might have done one tag for it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he wonder tagged for the Bridget.
Yeah. The only shame from Lucas's side is that he was not able to get an energy down, which this is. In some decks it doesn't matter so much, but if for a deck like this, obviously the Decidueye attacks for free energy, so you really want to get 1 energy down as quickly as possible, and Lucas was not able to do that. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it should still be okay. Because so now with a beacon from Steffen, play passes back to Lucas. He does have a rare candy in hand.
Yeah, he's going for the Decidueye, so he can rare candy into a Decidueye directly next round. So that's a pretty good start. That's what you want to do. And on Lucas' side, if he has an N available, he should play it. He definitely should play it, because I mean this is a sign for having rare candy available.
Yeah, and we do see Lucas had the rare candy Decidueye in his hand, so yeah, Lucas getting off to a lot better start than last game. He gets the grass energy down as well, and yeah, like you said, Lydia, if he has an N now, he's definitely going to want to play it. But I'm not sure if he does. He attaches a choice band. Does he have the N? No, Sycamore. Discarding a Guzma as well.
Yeah, that's not so good. You don't want to discard your Guzmas, but sometimes you just have to continue with the game to get more cards. So he's evolving one of his Rollers into a Dartrix. That's also pretty good.
And we do see that he does to play the timeable. Looks like that was 1 head and 1 tails. So yeah, getting another Dartrix out, and this is an amazing setup for Lucas. Manages to get out 2 Dartrixes and a Decidueye on his second turn. That's this game is gonna be very, very different to the game 1.
Yeah, it's completely different. Lucas is now able to get all his setup done even faster than Steffen was. So let's see how this is going to end up. Have you seen any Tapu Kokos in Lucas' deck?
I didn't see any in game 1. I don't know if he's actually playing it or not. But it looks like, I guess we can see, looking for his deck now, I imagine he'll probably be going for 2 Decidueyes here, but yeah, I don't know about you, Lydia. I'm not seeing any yellow. No. Yeah, so I guess then these 2 players probably definitely don't have the same list then, and maybe they just came up with the concept separately, but or maybe they came up with the same concept but different lists. Either way, it is still pretty funny that we got this as a mirror for round 1.
That's true. Pretty nice. It's not, I expected to see Gardevoir all day long, but we don't. That's good.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of time still. This is only round 1, to be fair. I'll have to see how the rest of the day plays out. Honestly, the only thing that I think might be a problem from this side is that if Lucas doesn't end up taking this game, I don't think they're gonna have time to finish game 3. So that will probably end up being a tie unless someone donks the other player, which would be a bit sad. But as we can see, Steffen going for he's got the Dartrix and the Decidueye out, so still a pretty decent counter setup from him. And he's going for the Feather Arrow into the Ice Blade, and yeah, 3 Decidueyes out for Lucas.
That's a great board position for Lucas now. I think what you said before, with this ending up in the tie, if Lucas is winning this game, starting your tournament with a tie is not the ideal start, especially if you're playing a setup deck when you know rounds take long and it's quite probable that you will have multiple ties, so you don't really want to end up tying early, so you don't have any ties left for no draws at the end.
Yeah. That's the dream start is to just win the first X rounds in a row, and then ID twice. But that'll be less likely to be an option for either of these players, as we do see what looks to be an N, and double colors going on to the Alone Ninetales, and there's a town map from Lukas, and ooh, that could be big actually. It could be very big. I mean, to be fair, he still has got a lot of feather arrow damage, and he'll be able to take a prize this turn actually, so he'll be able to get it out quite quickly. But yeah, it's a good thing he had found that town map.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He has the town map, and well, now it's even kind of an advantage for him because now he can get the SPN every time he wants it. So he might have. Oh, he's going for the SPN.
Deciding that he would rather have that available in his deck straight away rather than not.
Yeah, that's true. It's understandable.
Definitely. So now play passes back to Steffen, and yeah, the Rowlet's gone down. He should be able to find the second Decidueye this turn and get that out, which will be so not quite as amazing as Lucas's free Decidueye setup, but still okay. Again, he might run into the problem that Lukas did last game, where he's just not able to damage as quickly as Lukas is, because over each turn, that extra 20 that Lukas has will add up. So it's definitely wanting to sort of spread some damage and devolve these Decidueyes to get some KOs as quickly as possible, and he's going to want to find this Tapu Koko promo.
Yeah, so now he's playing an Ultra Ball, probably going for the second Decidueye.
It will be either the second Decidueye or the Tapu Koko promo. It's whatever he feels like will be more valuable in this instance, and yeah.
For a second Decidueye, so now he has 2 feather arrows available. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be good for him, and yeah. So now he'll probably play some. If he has the support access, then obviously he will use that, and he does have the double colors in hand, so it could have been an argument to go for the Tapu Koko promo now, so then he has the double colors ready to attach that. And then try and dig for the other Decidueye, but he also has a rainbow energy in his hand. Interesting.
It looks like he's considering to play down. Oh no, he's going for the double colorless energy on his Tapu Lele.
Interesting. So yeah, there's an N. So it looks like he might be considering an energy drive.
Probably, I mean that's why he was attaching energy to Tapu Lele.
Yeah, no, of course, but I mean, it just seems a bit dodgy because you could run into the problem we were talking about last game, where you do too much damage to a Ninetales and then they ice path it back. I mean, in all fairness, the 80 is not a ridiculous amount. The 80 is, you can deal with 80 just about, but if Steffen starts getting a bit too greedy and does too much damage to that Ninetales, he could get punished for it.
That's true, especially if you actually want to de-evolve all your opponent's GXs in this kind of deck. And yeah, maybe he's just going for the 80 and then leave it on the Ninetales as the Opix is then in knockout range.
It's a bold strategy, Lydia. Let's see if it pays off. I'm sorry, I had to say that at least once today. I'm sure I'll say it again at some point. So now with Steffen, did he go for the Ice Blade, or he's not decided yet?
I think he hasn't decided yet.
Yeah, looks like he's just sort of not going for it. Oh no, he did go for it. Yeah. And so now play passes back to Lukas, and it is going to be an N from him. Probably just doesn't want to find energy. I guess he just wants to make sure that he's able to attack consistently to really capitalize the most on all these feather arrows he has access to.
Yeah, Lukas now actually has to hurry up a bit. They have 10 minutes left, so but it should be enough time for Lukas to finish the game. Or maybe for Steffen, if he can get back.
I mean, obviously, you don't really want to tie, but at the same time, a tie is better than losing.
Yeah.
So, if he is able to, pull back this, if he's able to capitalize on his position to take the win, he will want to do that with some speed. I actually think that time management is still, even now, I think it's one of the most underrated skills in the Pokemon TCG.
Yeah, that's true. It's very interesting to understand when a game is lost for you and when to just simply give up and save your time for a few more games. Sometimes you want to continue a game that is already lost to find out a little bit more of your opponent's deck, but most of the time it's not necessary because most deck lists are very similar and you know what your opponent might play. So what do you think about time management skills?
I think it's that, but it's also the fact that people just actually it's just the physical actions of playing your cards. Some people do that like really slowly, and that's something that there's a few like extra little seconds that you take to do one. It does like add up, especially. One thing I was really happy about when I was playing at Worlds this year, I only tied once during the entire tournament, and that's because I tried to physically just play my cards fast, and it does help because 50 minutes is not a lot of time to do 3 games of Pokemon, but if you can actually win or lose instead of tying, there's a big argument for that being good.
It also helps you if you can look through your deck fast, or if you work for some skills or some ways to find out what's priced faster. Some people play different artworks of cards so they can count more easily. That are kind of tricks you can do.
What I do is I like playing cards with really like distinguishable colors. So I like playing for lots of supporters for that reason, because you can flick through and see that orange Sycamore, green Bridget. But it's also why I don't like playing gold items, because once I was literally playing in a game and I played down a field blower expecting it to be an Ultra Ball because I had both in gold in the deck, and then it wasn't in the tournament thankfully, but I realized, hold on, that's the wrong card. And then I realized, oh god, that's really bad. So yeah, so I only play one of my items in gold. That way, if I see something in gold, I know, oh, it's this item, and then the rest I play regular.
What I like is playing cards in different languages, and you're allowed to play every European language, so that also helps you counting, because you played the English one already, so you have the German and the French one still available.
Yeah. So looks like Steffen is able to get his Coco promo out, and he did looks to be a flying flip, and now it's back to Lucas's turn. Oh, he's done a feather arrow. He's got the Espeon EX. He's got the energy on it, so he'll be able to do some devolution shenanigans. Is there enough damage to actually knock out for some stuff to be knocked out? I'm assuming there is.
At least is it a Ninetales, or is it just right understand?
It's a Decidueye, it's the full art.
Okay. So it should be enough damage as there are 2 dices on it.
No, I mean more on Steffen's side, because Lukas was able to get his Espeon out, so I'm wondering, is that going to be... all that is going to get devolved. Is that actually... Oh, actually there's enough to... Whoa! You didn't even get to... I didn't even see the amount of damage on there. They were kind of hidden, so... Yeah. So, wow, huge turn from Lukas, and does that just almost seal the game for him?
Probably.
That's a huge turn. No, we didn't even realize. You couldn't see the dice. We didn't realize just how much damage was on there.
I mean, Steffen is now left with only a Tapu Koko and a Tapu Lele, and well, both do not that much for him. So let's see how Steffen is going to react to that. If he can get that into the game. He lost all his debtors. Yeah.
He's lost everything. He's lost all everything. I think the only way I see back to Steffen right now is if he does, another 2 flying flips and then gets his own Espeon EX out and does a big devolution. That's the only way back I see for him at this point.
Yeah, but I think this is the advantage Steffen's decklist has, because he has the Tapu Koko. He does not need to set up Decidueye to spread damage along the field. So, yeah.
Oh, this is really funny. So Steffen played a Bridget, tried to get a Tapu Koko, a Vulpix, and Espeon, but of course Bridget only allows you to get either 1 EX or 3 non-EXs.
You forget about this because most decks don't play any EX cards, only DX cards. So
yeah, it's funny that it's never happening, and it looks like for the one that he decided to opt for, he decided just to use the Bridget to get the 1 Espeon EX, which does kind of make sense because he needs to have access to that to make use of the Tapu Koko. He will be able to get 1 more flying flip down, but he really needs to get another Koko down and attach an energy to it, or you might end up being in a bit of a spot of bother.
Yeah, he now has attached a Rainbow Energy to his Espeon EX, so it's ready to attack. But he's of course going for another flying flip now because the damage might not be enough yet.
Oh, and interesting, instead of going for the second Koko promo, he's gone for a lone Vulpix, so not entirely sure why he's doing this, to be honest, because at this point, you're not setting up more Decidueyes. You just don't have time. There's no way Lukas will be able to take enough prizes to make use of that before, but looks like he's going for the Miraculous Shine now. So that one Decidueye would be KO'd, obviously, but I don't know if the rest of his stuff will be KO'd or not. That's a sit. Well, see, all that happens, and then again.
Oh.
Oh my! This is well, we can't count, obviously. That's just oh.
So Lukas lost all his Decidueyes now, and is not in such a good position. That was a huge turn for Steffen. This was a great comeback.
Yeah, the whole reason why I was saying, he needs to get a second Coco promo out, so I thought there wasn't enough damage to actually make use of Miraculous Shine, but no, it turns out there was. So.
So now it also makes sense to go for an Alone and Voltage.
Yes, it does.
Because it gives you access to some resources you might need. So again, we see Steffen playing very safe.
Yeah, well, not even necessarily playing safe, but just trying to make sure that Lukas can't win. I think with Steffen doing that, I don't think this game is going to end in time now, because both players are sort of in this position where it's going to be very slow moving for either of them to take their last few prizes. So Lukas still needs to take 2 more. Steffen needs to take 3. But yeah, I really don't see an option for either of them to win. We've only got 2 minutes left on the clock as well.
Maybe that's why Steffen decided to attach a DCE to his Lele, because then he can attach the attack to Espion EX, and this Espion EX is
it is, but of course the energy drive doesn't hit for weakness, so yeah, so that wouldn't make a difference in that case. But it still it means that he could eventually maybe build up energy to KO something else. As you see, okay, Lukas is able to get a Ninetales out, so that's something for him at least. Steffen will probably want to get his own Ninetales out soon as well, so in case he wants to end up doing some snipes with Ice Blade. Now, actually, one important thing to note: neither player has used their GX attack yet, so whether Ice Path becomes a factor, or maybe, Steffen plays Rainbow Energy, maybe he can use Tapu Cure. I don't know if that would be useful, but yeah, neither of them actually used their GX attack yet, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's always good to know. They also have Steffen has a GX counter he made by himself. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So with Steffen now, it looks like he's having a look through Lukas' discard pile just to see what's actually available or not. Yeah, he has a Rowlet in his hand, but he also doesn't really want to bench that, because again, that's a very easy target for Lukas potentially, especially if Steffen isn't able to actually evolve it, and because at this point he's probably burned through so many resources that he just wouldn't really be able to actually do anything with it. And this time is ticking down right now. As soon as it goes into time, I don't really see a way for Lukas to take all his prizes before the extra turns.
He has nothing on his board to deal a lot of damage, and okay, he's going for the Ninetales GX now. Sad.
I think it's his only choice. It's his only thing that can mount any sort of attacking pressure. So he's gonna do Ice Blade to something, but not actually take a knockout on anything. And like I said, he's not going to be able to take all of his prizes before the time is over. On goes Ice Blade onto the Tapu Koko promo. One more of those will take the knockout on it next turn. But is it going to be enough, Lydia? And there's the time gone right now, so time now should be called. Hopefully the judge will be there to sort of let them know time's been called.
I think there was just an announcement in the hall that time has been called. Yeah, there's an announcement now. So yeah, looks like they just heard it.
Yeah, so if Lukas isn't able to somehow take 2 prizes, then Steffen will actually be able to win this game, which is pretty impressive considering how we thought it was going to finish in a tie.
Yeah, that's true. Lukas had such a great start, but Steffen made a huge comeback with his Espion, and that's where the strength in Espion EX is.
The strength in Espion, and especially in the Tapu Koko promo, this was like absolutely the key card in both of these games that Steffen was, because it meant that even though he didn't have as good access to his Decidueye as Lucas did, he was still able to do the flying flip and still get that same level of power that the miraculous shine gives to just knock out all of Lucas's stuff.
And we could see that in both games. So it's nice to have a mirror match where you have a big difference as Tapu Koko, and it made the game for Steffen.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny because I don't know if I was just seeing things, but I think I did see a Koko promo actually in Lucas's discard when Steffen was looking for it. Maybe he just didn't venture, or maybe I just missaw it. I'm actually not sure. But in any case, what Lucas? What do you even do here if you're Lucas? Like, there's a Guzma onto the Espeon. It's like he's gonna bring up the Koko promo, gonna flying flip once again. It's actually kind of good because you can. Oh, interesting. So he can actually take the knockout with Psyshock potentially. Yeah, because it'll do 200 of the choice band.
That's another advantage Steffen has as he's playing Rainbow Energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So, there's a max potion as well, healing the Koko. And yeah, Psyshock will pick up the knockout.
Crazy. I didn't see that coming.
So, Psyshock, for those of you who don't know what it does for a Psychic with kick and 2 colorless, 70 damage, and it's not affected by effects on the opponent's Pokemon. So, this doesn't include weakness and resistance. It just means that it punches through things like safeguard abilities, but weakness and resistance still apply. So, yeah, 2 prizes for Steffen, and then back to Lucas.
Yeah, just for the people who are interested in ruling, it's because weakness and resistance are not effects on the Pokemon, but they are game mechanics, basic game mechanics, and that's why it's not included in the wording effects.
Yes. It's why, because there are some cards which do ignore weakness and resistance, but that's why they have to say, ignore all effects, including weakness and resistance. They have to say it specifically.
Yeah.
So, now Lucas, his Ice Blade option has even been taken away to take a prize at this point, and so time was called during Steffen's turn, I believe, so this will now be turned.
I think they are in the first extra round, they have a small red dice here.
Yeah, you do, they do, you're absolutely right. So, Lucas does have 2 turns to try and take 2 prizes, but if you can't, you need something like Ice Blade onto the Lele, and then Guzma plus something. I don't know. Even that won't be enough because you can hatch 1 DCE. You need to. God, he would need to Ice Blade the Lele with energy this turn, attach an energy to the Lele, then have a double colorless next turn and Guzma up. That's his only way to win.
Yeah, but those are a lot of outs for Lucas to draw. I think he's now calculating his probabilities, thinking about what supporter might be best, and if he can maximize his chances of drawing what he needs.
Yeah, definitely, because of course the other problem is he doesn't want to be hit back just as hard by something. I don't think Steffen will be able to win the game next turn. I don't really see an easy way. Well, actually, it depends on how much damage is on that below the Ninetales. It's a number, but I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, there's a sick. Is that? Oh, an Ultra Ball first. He's gonna see what he has access to. Looks like nothing.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to check his deck again, see what's in there, and think about if he even is still possible, if it is still possible for him to win.
Yeah, and if he's going for the wonder tag, and yeah, it looks like Sycamore is the option he's going to go for, thinking to himself, and just isn't worth it here, I need to just draw cards.
Maybe he also wants to make sure that there's no useless Pokemon in his deck, so he's not going to draw that.
That makes a lot of sense as well. So, yeah, he's drawn his entire deck.
Oh.
Is there something we're missing? It's actually double colorless. That's 130 damage so far onto the Espeon. There's a rescue stretcher. Is there something we're missing here? Oh, okay. He played the rescue stretcher to shuffle 3 back into his deck.
Okay.
That makes sense. So actually, this is really clever because it means that he's guaranteed to draw everything in his deck, and then he can use the rescue stretcher to stop himself from decking out.
Yeah, that's a good strategy, and now he can also, kind of control what he's going to draw next turn, even so he does not really need a new Pokemon.
He knows entirely what the contents of his deck are again, and So now he needs to decide what he needs to decide. Oh, what am I going to do here? And it looks like his option is just promote the Tapu Lele, and yeah, I think he just has to energy drive and hope that Steffen doesn't have the response. That'll be 130. But yeah, do the math, guys. So Steffen takes his draw. What does he have? Does he have the game? Drum roll, please. Yeah. No, it's like I said before. I don't think there's no real easy prizes on Steffen's side, on Lucas' side of the field for Steffen to take his turn 2 at a time. It might be that Steffen just has to promote something. Oh, field blow is huge. That is absolutely insane. If
he decided to take down the first man on his own type of process, even so that does not make any difference now.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a reason he did that. But now, yeah, because that's really, really huge, because that means now that it's going to be harder for Lucas to take a KO on, say, the Lele with energy on it. But he could still easily take a KO onto this active. But no, there's the max potion. So with the max potion, Steffen seals the deal, and he will. Well, this game won't finish, but having won game 1, he will take the match, and Steffen starts the tournament at 1-0-0. God, what a match, hey Lydia.
Yeah, I didn't thought this was going to end in a win for Steffen, but congratulations to Steffen Eriksen for winning the first round of the tournament.
Yep, really big congratulations to Steffen there. So should we get Steffen in for an interview? Should we see if we can?
I don't think we can, because the round has ended in with the 3 extra rounds, and we are already a little delayed in the tournament. So I'm afraid we can't get the winner this round, but maybe next time.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. Really hope you enjoyed that match. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back soon with round 2, but until then, don't go away.